So Final Fantasy VII, the remake, is already being made. I wonder what they'll do next. I got it! What's up everybody, Chris here bringing you that Pearson opinion. Today I wanted to discuss that now Final Fantasy VII the remake is in the works. If this game is a success, I wonder what other Final Fantasy games they'll remake. So first, before I get into this, I just want to thank one of my subscribers, Angel Fuentes, because they were the one who actually raised this question to me and suggested that I do this video. So thank you, my friend. And secondly, I know that Final Fantasy VII is the most popular game in the entire franchise. It's not a surprise that they're remaking that game. I also know that the likeliness of them remaking any other Final Fantasy is not high. But if the reception for 7 is good enough, why not? So if they do make another game, which one is it going to be? So let's start off with what I think is probably the most likely to be remade out of all of them. Final Fantasy VI. After number 7, this is probably the most popular in the franchise. This story revolves around a world once destroyed by magic. Now rebuilt, it relies on this really awesome steampunk style technology. So right off the bat, you know that this is going to be a good looking game. But then again, so would every game in the series, really. But this is something that I've mentioned in previous videos. When I imagine technology in a Final Fantasy game, I imagine it in this really amazing steampunk style with huge cogs and gears moving everything along, and huge airships with wings like Final Fantasy IX. Not this kind of futuristic style of things with computers, cars, and all that kind of stuff. That's what cries out Final Fantasy to me. And when I mentioned stuff like that in my previous videos, people have said, well, you know, Final Fantasy VI has technology in it, but this is where you can see the fundamental difference between, let's say, Final Fantasy XV's technology and a game like Final Fantasy VI. That steampunk style just adds a super fantasy element to things and really makes you feel like you're in a completely different world. Another thing that I feel would transfer over really well is the battle system. It would be very similar to Final Fantasy XV in the sense that it would be action orientated, but these huge mechs would give it this really awesome Xenoblade style action. And as you know guys, it's no secret that I definitely prefer the old turn-based battle system, but this is the way that it's going, and what are you gonna do? But I do feel like Final Fantasy VI is one of the best RPGs ever made, and with its awesome steampunk environments, epic storylines, and one of the most epic villains in gaming history, this game would definitely be a worthy remake. Now, going earlier than Final Fantasy VI, I would say that the only one I would like to see remade would be Final Fantasy IV, but they've already remade that for the DS, and that was a really great game, so I'm not going to touch on that one either. So my next one would actually be Final Fantasy IX. Again, this is another Final Fantasy that has a beautiful medieval steampunk environment that just cries out Final Fantasy. The story to this game is huge. You follow the main character Zidane, who's hired to capture the Princess Garnet, who teams up with you to take down the Queen, and then eventually Kuja, another amazing villain. So in terms of a potential remake, this story is definitely big enough. The characters, for instance, Vivi, would look really amazing remade, and environments like the Lifer Tree and Terra would look truly, truly beautiful remade. The battle system, though, I don't think would translate over as well as 6 would. The use of the mechs in 6 would just really set it apart from anything else. But its battle system is very similar to 7, so you know that it's transferable. One thing that would really set this game apart from other ones though, is its emphasis on summons. Imagine watching Bahamut scorch Alexandria in all amazing remade HD. It's just mind-blowing. So moving on, I don't think I can see them making anything past 9 because they're already good games and they've already had the HD treatment to them. So the next one that I think they would remake is Final Fantasy VIII. Out of all of my picks, I think this one has the best transferable battle system, and it also has the most relevant environments, like according to the newer games. The storyline to this game is a little more in line with other games newer to the franchise, and the environment is certainly closer to 15 than any other game in the whole franchise today. So I feel like it would really fit in the direction that Square Enix want to take the series. But what I think fits better than anything else is its battle system. It just works better than most does. I mean, let's take the gunblade trigger for instance. If you add in the fact that you have to trigger that to an already active battle system of the remake, it just adds an extra depth to when you're attacking. And the limit breaks in this game are also button prompted, so that would be ideal as well. Even the way magic works, drawing magic from your enemies when you need it, and not actually having to level up your magic, is just adding a super casual way of using that magic in the game, something I feel will translate over pretty well to the newer games. I mean, sadly in 15 it didn't even feel like magic was necessary in the game. I gotta admit, I feel like this would be a pretty good game to remake. Oh, and one thing I haven't even mentioned yet, the card game is the best minigame I have ever played in any game. It is just so much fun, and to be able to play that again would be awesome. So in my opinion, to be honest with you, if they're gonna remake a game, they're gonna make Final Fantasy VI. That's just the way it is. It's the most popular game in the franchise other than Final Fantasy VII, so they're gonna go for that next. But I do think the best game that would translate over is Final Fantasy VIII. Honestly, it stays current with everything that they're doing with the franchise right now, and I just feel like they would be missing out on something if they chose not to do that. I personally hope they remake 9. I think the characters are way more compelling than most Final Fantasies, I think the storyline was epic, and I think the environments would look beautiful remade. But honestly, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Which ones would you guys prefer to be remade? If I missed one of your favourite Final Fantasies, let me know in the comments below. Like the video and do not forget to subscribe.